the shrine of Our Lady of the Dobrativa, Our Lady of Grace in Zaječov, Dobrativa. It was recorded of a man who had a dream. He dreamt that the Mother of Jesus, the Blessed Mother, appeared to him one night. In the vision he was accompanied by two men, elderly men, who brought him to a small hill. This woman, who was holding a child, pointed to the ground and said, "I would like a church built in this place." This is the dream that he had. He recognized the hill. He recognized this little summit. He was a wealthy man, Walter von Hassenburg, so he built a church. After the monastery was founded in 1262, when we began inhabiting the monastery that was built, it was a period of growth. It was being the first monastery of the order, and it was in this order also that the friars kept that original spirit, of the early days. First of all, it was rural. The friars originally were eremitical. They lived in isolation in that respect and assisted, certainly when needed. That was the charism at that time. And then, of course, bad days did fall upon the order. With the execution of Jan Hus at the Council of Constance in 1415, then began a period of trial, which lasted for some time.
My journey, which is continued today with Dobrativa, began with Father Bill Fay when I met him after Mass one day. And a mutual friend, Mel Jurgen, brought me in to introduce me to Father Bill. He was on sabbatical and he also taught seminarians during the months of January and February. But before I went to meet Father Bill, I had a locution to tell Father Bill that he is not unto death, that he will be cured, and he has plenty of work to do. It is only a mild illness. So when I went into the sacristy to meet Father Bill, I said, after I introduced myself, I said, "I do have a message for you from the Blessed Mother," and I repeated the message to him. And he said, "Well, that is very strange because they've diagnosed me with cancer." And he said, "I only have a few months to live." And I said, "Not according to the Blessed Mother." I said, "You're going back to Prague and you're going to continue with the work on your restoration of Dobrativa."
I was working in Poland at the time, and I had some very serious problems. They were escalating, and I had gone to one doctor, and he said, yes. He said, I think there's something very serious that you're going to have to take into consideration, and there's definitely an operation. So I returned to the United States. I informed my superior, and I had a friend of a classmate of mine who was pastor of parish. I concelebrated Mass with him. I came into the sacristy after Mass. I was totally exhausted. I couldn't really walk about. I was every step I took became increasingly difficult, and appetite left, and etc. And well, I was expecting, that this was going to be quite a bit of time before anything could be done. So this woman came in, accompanied by another woman, and she came over to me. I never met her before. I didn't know her. So she looked at me and she said, She said, "You're going to get better." She said, "because you got work to do." And she left.
So lo and behold, he did. He went back. He was fine. He was cured. And we started work. He said, "You're going to help me restore it," between Bob and Mel Jurgen and Bob, my husband, and myself. We said, "Okay, we'll see what we can do and help you out."
I met Betty Harris in 1998, Father, when they came, she came here with the group of the Madonna Dobrativa Foundation. And I met because Father William introduced it to me. We were talking. She was a very interesting person for me, like a person full of energy, full of love, full of spirituality and so on. I was surprised. I was little concerned when they begin to talk about the apparition of the Blessed Mother and all the revelation, all the messages. I say, okay, with that kind of thing, a little, okay, careful, okay, I don't believe, not that I don't believe, but I prefer to wait and to see what the church is going to tell us. But I was surprised for two things. The first one, and I was so happy for that. I say, these people, they are from 100 of miles. They are coming here and they want to help. They want to help us. Yeah? I don't know if they say that the Blessed Mother told that, okay, help the Augustinian, or they want to help. But for me, it's important that people that they didn't know us, and Betty Harris, she knew Father William, but myself and the community not, and they are coming here. They are spending a lot of money to come here like a group to see the place and to pray and so on. So they want to pray and they want to help the Augustinian with a project that for us at that time was one of the most important projects, to have a place outside of Prague where we can have many of these activities that we have here.
What happens to me, the interior locution, I get warned because I have the gift of tears. And then the Blessed Mother or Jesus or our Heavenly Father, and in some instances, some saints come, I know that someone is coming. And it starts and it fills my whole being with their voice. It's not like really hearing a voice if you close your eyes, but it's just something that speaks within your whole body. You're aware of what goes on outside, but this overtakes you, so that's all you concentrate on, especially if it's an instructional message on work that I have to do. At that time, then I moved forward with the Rosary Group. The Blessed Mother instructed us to organize the Madonna Dobrativa Foundation, named all the board members, and then from then forward, she started giving us instructions on the work that she would like accomplished each time we were to travel to Prague.
Frankly, after I was healed, I never returned to it. I never thought of it. I just thank God that I was able to continue the work. And then I met Betty again. She says, now, she said, you have work to do. And then, then I began to think about what happened.
So at the beginning of 1998, or the end of 97, we discovered that the monastery of Svata Dobrativa in Dobrativa was sold. We want back that monastery because we want to create like a pastoral center, a family center, and so on. We wanted that monastery because it's the oldest Augustinian monastery and churches here in the Czech Republic from 1262, 63 was founded. So it has a lot of history. You know, going back to the roof of our presence here in the Czech Republic, and now what we are going to do. So we contact with the general. The general told us go talk with that company and try to buy back that monastery, and this is what we do at that time. And I can tell you that really was very, very difficult times of negotiation, and he wants more money, and at least at the end we only pay 5 million crowns. And thanks also we could pay that money thanks to the help of the Betty Harris and the Madonna Dobrativa Foundation.
The monastery, the grounds were sold to some, I believe, a gentleman from Canada, a Czech who migrated to Canada, came back and wanted to establish a sports center, an athletic center. I heard about it, and one morning, the phone's ringing off the hook. No one was around. So I answered the phone, and this man got on the phone, and he said, well, we're ready to sign the deal. He said, but this is the last moment. I can't wait any longer. And without any thought, I said, the deal is over. I said, we canceled, we backed out. We really didn't, but I did. And he said, what do you mean? I said, yeah, there's no more, we're not, the place is not up for sale. It's finished. We have other plans. Okay, I'm glad you told me now. Click, and that was the end.
The property had a lien on it, as did many other properties of the Augustinian order. In order to release this lien and get the property back, the Blessed Mother asked a very wonderful priest and friend of mine, Father William Hannerschwega, to provide the money for the release of the lien. He donated $150,000. $75,000 went towards the removal of the lien. She said, not a penny more, not a penny less. That was all that the person who had the lien on it was going to get. We met with him. He accepted the money, removed the lien, and we returned the property to the Augustinian order.
The Prior General came to visitate us, and he took me aside, and he said to me, where are we going to get the money to renovate this place? You're just a handful of people. And I said, well, I'll be able to take care of that. He said, I don't really think so. I said, because we can't do it. So with that blow, we went into a meeting with a group of realtors, etc.
One of the times we had to get permission from the main order of the Augustinians in Rome. So Father Orgasitis and Father Bellini came to St. Thomas's, and they had a meeting. Father Bellini, I have to tell you, said there'll be no meeting unless the women leave the monastery. So we left, went into the chapel, and at that time the Blessed Mother said, you go back in there and give this message to Father Bellini that you are to sit in and get the permission and try and get this work done for me. So I went in, I said, Father Bellini, I have a message for you. I said, we have to stay. Sorry, we can't leave. And I gave him the message, his personal message. And he looked at me and said, how would you know that? And I said, because I was told this. And it had to do with a friend back in Italy many years ago when he was a child. So from then on, we had no problem with the Augustinian order and the work at Dobrativa.
And the strangest thing happened. The Prior General, looked over at me and said, we're not going to sell Dobrativa, we're going to keep it. He said, now you got the obligation of saying what you promised. You have to get the funds and everything. So, Betty, so I referred back to Betty, and she started the support system.
It's been many years, long, hard work, some that we can afford to do and some we can't afford to do. We tried to raise funds for it, but it's important to the Blessed Mother, and I will continue to do this because of my dedication to her. I've dedicated the rest of my life to whatever she wants, whatever she asks. You know, she is my mother, and I love her. And I just can't do enough for her. So whenever the word comes, I keep telling her, Mother, I'm just getting too old for this. And she says, no, you're fine. You'll have the strength to go. And she gives me my orders, and off I go.
The restoration of Svata Dobrativa is not the restoration of a museum. No, it's the restoration of a center where families can gather, where families can spend time. People can go and meditate and and pray, recreate, meet people who think the way they do, or perhaps don't think the way they do, and to share thoughts. That's really what Augustine would have enjoyed. The high point of Augustine's day was to speak at table about the wonders of God's creation and what can be done and should be done, etc. And this Dobrativa is that type of intercommunication center. It's a lovely setting. It has an aura of generations, of over 700 years of prayer and work, of tragedy, restoration, renovation, failure, standing up and keep walking. St. Augustine once said, the greatest grace that God can give us is the grace of standing up and keep walking in one direction towards Him.
To have the possibility that the monastery will be full of people, that was the wish of the Blessed Mother when she appeared in 1262, that people will come to this monastery and to this church to stay here, to pray and to have like a place of a peaceful place of spirituality, place of rest. And this is my idea, that one day the whole monastery will be not only 6 months, but the whole year.